be filled, something that our chat can also do. You guys can also give us of who the best 6 from Group C could be making it into the top 18, because that's what we are here for on week 2, day 3. And the group is C, and in that is your teams. Now you can pick from here itself as we introduce them. UGxGRP, Headhunters, Arise, METANINZA, FX Elite, Team Tamilas, NG Silver Eagle, The Knights, IQESPORTS, ADDA Kings, Oligarchs, ZENSTRIKERS, ESPORTS. These are your best 12 from Group C who made their way across from our week 1 performance, Oro. Now it's still not done for them. They have to make it to the knockout stage. Once again, another challenge.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the first column. All the teams in the first column had gotten 100 plus points in the week 1 during their respective group matches. So just, making sure that they have the momentum, probably thinking what went wrong in Group A won't go wrong for these teams, but this is a new group, new faces. We are going to see the team lineups for now. Well, this is going to be the playing for. You see already UGxGRP locking their lineup here with Chava Boy, of course, the main think tank in their team. The way they played, they maneuvered so well. They ended up with 2 Booyahs and they dominated alongside Assetto Elite in Group B in week 1.
Headhunters, again another team that tops the charts. Looking forward to topping today with Divine, with Arise, who surprised us so well as underdogs, that we are looking forward to their performance with a veteran within them. That's going to be Kunal. METANINZA, a team from the city qualifiers. All eyes on them as well. Along with them is going to be FX Elite. On one end, if we have Ginotra and Jarvis playing together, on the other end, we have FX Elite's sharp mind of Avijit coming into play to see where they make a mark. And now, not just METANINZA, they had Team Tamilas to their right-hand side. So that's going to be a question that they have to figure out. How do they fight amongst the city qualifiers as we jump to the next 6 teams, where we have Oligarchs, who are FFC mode #1.
Yeah, I mean, a lot on stakes, right? And absolutely one more thing to notify that, NG Silver Eagle, last time they made it to the knockout stages. They could not qualify for the grand final. So they know how to do it. They have the mantra. So it should not be a problem for them, but probably a problem can arise for a team like Oligarchs, because looking at what they did in week number 1, they could not be amongst the number of eliminations, because that's where the game has turned towards, because the meta looks like whoever gets the maximum number of elimination points, Lucifer, I think gets the better advantage in the overall standings.
Let's see who gets the better advantage in the overall standings, because it's time they have to figure out whether they have done it till the knockout stage in the previous time or whether it is their first time here in FFMIC. Let's talk about the teams who had their grassroots entry going around the nooks and corners of the cities, and we had the city qualifier happening. You can see from Lucknow we have UGxGRP, Ahmedabad, we have METANINZA, Hyderabad has Team Tamilas. And why are we seeing all of them 3 together? Because they're playing for qualification today, and look at all their points, so close to 100, especially for UGxGRP and METANINZA, 116, 101, and on the other end, Team Tamilas at 86 points, and all the 3 are going to be fighting for the top 6 spot.
Definitely. I mean, to add on, Lucifer, there was one more city in the city qualifier. For the very first time in the history of Indian esports, we saw an offline qualifier where, these teams were given opportunities amongst thousands of, people coming in and trying to be the part of these city qualifiers. Kolkata was also included, where GG Instinct from yesterday, they already managed to qualify. So, I mean, this shows the track record as well. The city qualifiers team has been qualifying right from the group stages week 1, but not for invited teams, right? They have already faced the wrath of the qualification, where they could not manage to qualify from week 1. There were few. And now here comes week 2, where we already saw so many upsets in Group A.
Now, Group A for week 2, yes, invited teams did not make their mark. We had a total of 6 when we played Group A, right? It was 4 invited teams, but only 2 made it across. Whereas on the city qualifiers, who played yesterday, it was only 1 team, they qualified. Today we have 3. Do all the city qualifiers team make it across? And along with them, they have Headhunters, and we start off with a classic arrangement and a matchup on Bermuda. I really like this, that even though we have shuffled it and randomly it's been Bermuda to start things off, this is going to make an interesting start, because every team can set themselves up. Talking about this, right? Teams need to kind of get an idea about the lobby, and the best map to start things on is going to be Bermuda.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up, we have Alpine and Kalahari as well, Sam, and also towards the second set, it's Solara, Purgatory, and Nextera. But the most important thing is, since you're saying that the initial few games are used by the teams to figure out their momentum, and to be fair, Kalahari and Solar are coming together. The most actionful maps, right? The third and the fourth game, that's where the game can change. And we have seen these teams like NXT yesterday. You have already witnessed what they did with the third game where they got 40 points. But then, this is the unified caster prediction, where UGxGRP, Headhunters, METANINZA, Rise Esports, FX Elite, and NG Silver Eagle is what we think can make it towards, or probably the top 6 teams from group number C. These are the teams who can make it, but you guys can go ahead and give your predictions that overall, who do you think can qualify towards the knockout stages from group number C?
Imagine, Oro, that all of us, all the talents across the English and the Hindi desk, have put our predictions together, and then this is the majority of what we all think will be the teams qualifying out of Group C today and end the week itself, right, in terms of action. Surprising that so far, even when we saw our Group A and Group B, even with all our minds clashing together, we still had one or the other team who still made it out as a surprise, and that's what I'm thinking. Who could that surprise be in today's Group C as well? Something that our viewers can think about, while I'm still kind of wrapping my heads around it, that yes, even majority-wise, even I agree with this prediction. This should be the top 6. But there should be a surprise because, hey, Group A had it. Group B had it. Why not Group C? We cannot leave the fun out. This has been a full-on thriller show. We literally are truly standing to the hashtag Feel the Fire. And let's start it with our Bermuda actions drop spots, and let's see where these teams prefer to get down. And it looks like Katulistiva seems to be a hot spot so far. Oligarchs, Team Tamilas and the Rise, along with Mill, clashing for 4 teams.
Yeah, where the Knights, METANINZA and FX Elite and also UGxGRP are going to be fighting for that spot. If it's a yes, then that might be a fight to watch out for. But definitely there are going to be a lot more surprises than that, Sam. Because you see a place like Clock Tower and Factory open. You see Mars Electric, and even an island called Sentosa is left open. So I'm sure that teams are going to go and contest that spot. And also, there is a conditional thing to it while the plane path comes in. Imagine if it's skewed towards the northern side or probably towards down south, then immediately the drop spots change and teams have to rediscover their momentum, or probably the drop spots on the fly.
Let's see what on the fly for them means, because I'm seeing peak with only one team, IQESPORTS, because I think that's not going to be the case. Somebody is going to try and take that peak in terms of control, take that mansion completely in their holding, make it a fortress if possible, or maybe, because we've seen aggression, right? At least teams, if they don't get down to peak, start the hit list, something that we've been seeing quite often, especially in week 2. Teams have been using this as a pro and a defense strategy, right? Where pro is them attacking to a team and the defense strategy is knowing where the team is coming in from. Also a discussion we were doing with our talent right before the show started. We've also seen teams using the Arvon's binoculars as information. Every team is trying to use the best in terms of the pets' abilities, their character abilities, everything that the game has to offer, so that they both survive as well as move forward in the overall standings, because that is the current situation. None of the teams are completely sure whether they can qualify or not, but they're confident in their gameplay.
Yeah, and also we have seen a difference in the play style with the 2 groups coming in. In Group A, we saw a much more awareness coming in from those teams, and teams were a little on the passive side. They were playing those edges, those corners. But while our caster predictions are here, I mean, it's a no-brainer picking up Headhunters, right? Lucifer, because they were the team to beat in their Group D matches, because they had 100 plus points, they had the momentum, and they are one of those invited teams. So probably, that's a safe bet. But then there comes UGxGRP and Arise have literally surprised everyone. They are one of those fresh faces, to be honest, who have impressed me a lot.
Yeah, these underdogs, they've clearly outshined among the rest that we've seen so far, and proves why they're hashtag 4. And let's hope today the hashtag top 5 teams make it across, because just like we spoke about the city qualifiers, hashtag 1 and 4-5 are also playing today. We spoke about Oligarchs as well. We spoke about FX Elite and now Arise as well. I, however, have one offbeat of a prediction that I've made is going to be the Knights. Why? Is because tracking back to week 1, their victory, their booyah on Bermuda itself. That is one reason I see them, that they should be having a better positioning to start things off. But is it going to work out, right? Now we have three different aspects before we start off Bermuda. One is, yes, the city qualifiers team, majority of them playing today. Invited teams, we spoke about them. Two of them have been eliminated. One who played yesterday qualified. Today there is the last one who's going to be playing. And can they qualify? On top of that, we have our FFC mode top 5. Do they qualify? But once they qualify, we have a surprise for you. What is it? You guys are thinking you have to wait till the end of the show because it's time to start game number 1. Bermuda. This is where Group C, who are waiting, watching Group A, what they did, who qualified, Group A, what they did, who qualified, and TEZ FFMIC 2026 Spring starts here for Group C.
Bermuda it is, Lucifer, and here comes ADDA Kims, who are already off the plane. And they're going towards Sentosa alongside FX Elite. So probably they have defied the preferred drop spots. And it was expected, right, Sam? You know, while they showcased that they wanted to go towards a different drop spot. Now, here comes the clash. How do you prepare? This is where things are going to get a little luck-based. If you don't get your weaponries while you jump down, you might find yourself in a tough spot.
Look at this, METANINZA, as soon as they were seeing that they're going to be going towards Mill, teams decided we are going to go in the other direction. They didn't want a 4-man squad clash coming through. ADDA Kings as well as FX Elite, you spoke about the Sentosa Island, which was completely left all alone. Once METANINZA made that decision, they had to find another approach. But ADDA Kings, Valia, he's gone in the other direction, already at that 3-1 split that we end up seeing from teams in the very start of things, because they know trouble can start, but trouble that 3-1 split that we end up seeing from teams in the very start of things, because they know trouble can start, but trouble has already started, where we saw a 3-way clash, Catalystiva with our Arise, Team Tamilas, and maybe Oligarchs if they have any hint that they want to get into this action. Fight starts off, damage being done, script is low, gets taken down. 2 of the players from Team Tamilas are down against Arise's one who's just been knocked.
Yeah, I mean, Kunal probably will be revived here. It's UGxGRP wait, Prodigy. He got taken down, I mean, caught in the crossfire, because it was Kohli with that God. You know, while you run away from that machine gun, you need to be pretty specific, because once that starts firing, you are in a lot of trouble. And here it is, Arise Esports in the Catalystiva region, and UGxGRP are surrounding them. You need to be very careful. Looks like they're wanting to move away from this fight. Probably they do not want to fight in this situation, because I feel they do not have the adequate amount of utilities, or probably they don't have the correct amount of loot. But while they're coming in for the rotation, look at Kunal. He is one of the veterans in the community. He is in a situation where there is already a player. As he goes at his question, he doesn't know, but he has to recover. He recovers so well that he connects the shot and he takes down that man.
That was quick on the Mag 7's util, but it's not yet done. The fight still continues. ZENSTRIKERS, they've decided to say hello in terms of them finding elimination. ZENSTRIKERS, they found a knock, but the aggression back from Arise is too hot and too good. They picked up one player, Sam God and JD God. Can they do something? Turn this in their favor. Max 7 again in its swag, but Kunal misses his opportunity this time, and so Johan has to close the distance. He had revived his teammate, and his teammate Mad God does the deed, puts the players down, and ZENSTRIKERS, they get troubled.
Yeah, Rise Esports, very good start, and look at the lobby. What? I mean, NG Silver Eagles are already eliminated, and that too in the very brink of the, beginning of the Bermuda. It's not even 4 minutes into the game and they are already eliminated. I mean, this is a shocker that, these snowball vibes are still there. We have to see that what went wrong. They will have few games to, recover themselves, but they have to focus on METANINZA, who are fighting right now. Also, Risey, so they aren't stopping. They have gone out and gotten 8 elimination points, and the fight hasn't stopped yet. Lucifer, look at UGxGRP. They're right in front.
I hope they know, because that hit list should give them that info. And Mad God says hello, instantly puts down Shanku, but the target is not him. The hit list on the other player. That's going to be Sahil. Kohli tries to fend off, doesn't work. The Trogan's better in Mad God's hand. He's literally mad right now on UGxGRP for starting off a fight where they never using the cord and punished last player Sahil because the other was also knocked, and he is the one who has the hit list on him. Spotted, damage done, and Mad God, a 1v3 against UGxGRP in the very first game.
I mean, I'm not at all surprised. He is one of those players, Mad God, to be honest, who had impressed me in week number 1 alongside Chauhan, who is already there, right up there alongside Mad God with 3 more elimination points. So both of them are contributing, and this is good signs for our ESPORTS. But METANINZA right now locking horns against ZENSTRIKERS, and Prime has been taken out. 1v2 situation for him. Be tough to handle. 9 out of 10 times you'll see the solo man getting taken out. Zap is also towards that tower, so definitely he's getting those information for his team. IQESPORTS is also in the vicinity. Brand, he's alone. Okay, players are coming in. Prime, and also along with Karthik, comes in, jumps in. Vishal is also here, but this is a no man's land. Why would you want to do this?
They find an opening. Ginotra is down. That's a big man to take down. However, that was because the numerous players of IQ, they decided to jump on. METANINZA, they do lose one more. That's Jarvis. 2 big names from METANINZA have been knocked, and comes down to the other 2 who are still surviving. Anshu now gets in turn knocked, and he gets confirmed. METANINZA are looking like they're in deep troubles. But right as now, they do not get eliminated. Thankful to their player who makes a run quickly. Goes in the other direction. However, gets caught by Prodigy from a rise. So again, troubles looming for METANINZA. They are a high-scoring team, but the start has been an upset for so many teams that it seems like it's about to continue. IQ, however, compliments to them. They surrounded METANINZA, overpowered them, and now Zap in trouble. Somehow they trailed right behind Zap to make sure they get this last player also out, if possible.
Looks like they want to take out the competition, right? There's no way that a team from outside the circle would want to, actually from inside the circle would want to take damage and take a fight against the team. That was a little dicey moment, but here comes Arise Esports. They haven't stopped yet. It's 13, probably trying to make it more, but then they have to understand that sometimes overextensions can be a little problematic. My God, 5 Prodigy there. So they can again buy time. But it's METANINZA again. Ginotra, he is in a tough spot once again. This time it is against Kunal. He has a Groza, throws a freeze nade, again throws one more. And Mad God is pushing in from a different angle. So pressure is right up on METANINZA. They are not finding the momentum. Got the space as well. And they are crunched with these kind of situations right now, for which looks like METANINZA have lost it right now.
What a start for Johan, and now he's surrounded. What can he do? His teammate was trying to be Ginotra. Doesn't work. How quick are these players? Mad God running close before he could. With the launcher, Kunal puts him down. The confirmations come across, but Arise are also in trouble. Prodigy has been lost. It's going to be IQESPORTS. We spoke about them. They are the ones who are on hunt for METANINZA, and they trail, find a couple of players from Arise, and Arise, as soon as they realize that, yes, we have a lot of eliminations, this is a fantastic start, total of 17, but that doesn't mean we go out right now. They will try to get back in terms of their position, go towards a vending machine, revive all their teammates. They have an hit list also activated so that they always get information of one of the team getting pinged in case they get closer.
Yeah, and even they trigger a hit list onto OLIGARCHS. Django is the IGL, and they have also started well. I mean, they have a decent start right now with 4 elimination points. And they have not been amongst the most eliminating points, or probably the teams who have been flashy, with their elimination game. But well, they'll probably find their way. But this was the fight where OLIGARCHS, took down NG Silver Eagles. That that was a big blow.
Whoa.
They couldn't even start. They only have 1 point, right? That's a tough spot to be in as a team. When you have an agenda for the day, you have to be in the top 6, and you already see the cutoff. It's flying in the previous 2 groups.
Yeah, soaring around 70. Right now, soaring in terms of eliminations, and the aggressive hunt is even IQ Esports. Spotted ZENSTRIKERS out in the open. Karthik, trigger discipline coming in his hands, making sure he gets closer, calls his teammates as well. And we've seen this. The attack strategy for IQ Esports has always been a team-heavy forward approach. It's not a solo battle. That is the reason they've converted on METANINZA as well. Even close to Arise eliminations in terms of their 2 players. That tells us of how well IQ Esports are playing. If Karthik wanted with the ACAT, he even now could even take a free open shot, land a knock. But look at that discipline.
ZENSTRIKERS found 1 elimination point right now. It is Mohsen. The vicinity is also oligarchs towards factory. Moving in and around, definitely they have the information. Few shots taken. Look at Nim. He had taken some amount of damage where, Django! The plushie being connected. But then look at the backline. It's IQ Esports. This looks like a ZENSTRIKERS moment, but then ZENSTRIKERS just might get sandwiched by IQ Esports and also from oligarchs. So they need to play this very, very smart, Lucifer.
They're already in trouble. Mohsen is down from outside. That's Vishal. ZENSTRIKERS, before they could attack, they're landing blows on their knees. It's not working. JD God is out. Prime and Sam God trying to make a run out of this. They wanted to start the fight with oligarchs, but it's going against them. UAV being used, and oligarchs, this is their opportunity. They spot Sam God. He is down. Prime is the last survivor. They am not too sure if they got a revival behind a glue wall for the time being. That's going to be burst, and his elimination is prominent. ZENSTRIKERS are done for. Oligarchs and IQ Esports together join hands and make this happen, but it's not an end. Factory still keeps seeing action in production of eliminations as Arise jump in as the 3rd team.
Yeah, Rise with 17 already. They have the momentum. They would want to get more, but they need to understand that oligarchs are no joke. They have the higher ground. They need to understand also that alongside Arise being there, there are a few more teams in the vicinity. Look at Headhunters. Also fighting somewhere in the map against FX Elite. Healing guns are going to be used to their advantage right now for oligarchs. Django getting healed, but Django, he has the AWM. He needs to find that opening. What's going to be the call for oligarchs? Oh no, Prodigy finds the first one. What a beautiful shot onto Nim there. Now the opening is there. How would they want to crunch them? It's the question, because they have a lot of space to work with.
98 from Prodigy and the AWM. Says the support, doing the job of a sniper. And oligarchs, they were proning themselves to try and not tangle themselves in a fight with Arise. Rather, they're like, hey, okay, let's give away an opportunity. But then they decided, okay, let's try and see if we can find a knock. And in turn, now they're knocked and Arise. Once they have their eyes set, they're going to make sure they target. They're not going to let these players go in terms of a fight against them. They're going to make sure that either they push out of here or continue fight where they conclude. But METANINZA, they might be closing the distance. Headhunters on the other corner, FX Elite are also there, and we spoke about another team, IQ Esports. They are also dwindling around this region, as you can see.
Oh no, Factory does not look good. So many colors, right, Lucifer, right now. Now the utilities come in. It's Riptide Rhythm being connected, and also the Nero plushie being used. Oligarchs, they're flushed out with the utilities. They do not have any more blue walls, probably. They are looking clueless right now. But look at Arise Esports. They're also playing it patiently. They also do not, want to push them because they know the surrounding. They know that there are too many teams out there, and if we make a move, probably we just might get eliminated. And the circle, it has gone far away from Factory. Now, they have to either fight or rotate. But then, if you rotate, how will you? You have to take a fight. There is no other option.
No option. Let's see who starts off as the circle moves a little further from Factory, leaving IQ behind. The Knights are also close by. So this is going to be a big onslaught of a battle in all directions. Oligarchs in right center of it. On one corner, it's going to be IQ. On the other, it's going to be Arise. One player from FX Elite. On the other end, it's going to be the Knights. Team TAMILAS in a distance near the Arsenal. You can see right now at the edge of the zone. seems like IQ Esports, they're going to be in trouble. Nice launcher shot coming in from Kingston. He doubles down on it, make it maybe a triple, but IQ, they're in trouble as Team Tamilas are also having their chance in this fight. Nim, he jumps right through to find the last player and confirms it. What a game coming through from Oligarchs. So patient, and now they've also pushed to double digits in eliminations.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Arise Esports. They still, finally they have wanted to move in. Now the movements will come and Nim gets the first one to be taken out. Kingston, he had to find the backup, but Gokul is far away. Gokul, he has to run away now because Arise Esports definitely, being the best players right now in the lobby with 19 frags, just climbing up the ladder and, building upon teams and, pummeling all those coming in front. FX lead, meanwhile, getting eliminated towards the 8th spot, but Arise Esports can control the aggression. They do not want to play the chasing game right now because there are a few more teams in the vicinity, Lucifer.
Rise, they've been smart. They pushed out Oligarchs, and Oligarchs in trouble. They are in front of the Knights. But Arise, they have to understand that it is not only Oligarchs they pushed out, they're keeping the Knights away as well. Knights now are getting closer. They know that they have a team that they have to be worried about, but Knights also have teams in front of them who are troubled by Headhunters. While Team Tamilas, Writers now have cut their sound. They were the ones who made trouble for many teams. FX Elite's elimination, but Arise and the Knights have a fight. Opens off with Johan going down, but instantly answered on Satya. Max tries to run in, but that doesn't work. And Mad God, making the deed happen once again, eliminates the Knights.
Definitely, but Prodigy, he's fighting a different battle against Gokul. It's the last man for Oligarchs. No, his drone is spotted, of course, but Mad God, he runs in, uses the dash, and he closes his thing for I think that was METANINZA. Oh, that was Oligarchs who would take him down, but that was METANINZA also getting eliminated at the same time, right? Sam, but then you look at Arise Esports with 24 elimination points. Look at the numbers they have got in the first game, but it looks like ADDA Kings, they have the positioning, they're looking very strong, and the rest of the teams, they have to go inside the circle right now.
The Kings have been so far playing the survival game, and now they're ready to hammer through, and they're hammering towards Team Tamilas, but they're not safe and sound. Their eyes are set towards Arise. Spotted them, and ADDA Kings. Curse got knocked, instantly getting him up, back on his feet. But how difficult is it going to be? Because Arise, they do not want them surviving. The zone is closing on the end of ADDA Kings, and that's the reason. Constant troubling. Curse is already down. Confirmation coming on Valia, and Arise, a 25 elimination already, and we are still having the 4 teams surviving. Team Tamilas, they also have trouble as Rain has been knocked. Confirmation comes for Johan. Arise Esports right now completely eliminating the whole and half of the lobby and looking for a lot more to gobble, and it's looking unstoppable to put these lads down.
Probably they're eyeing for the record which SHL Elite set up in week number 1, but that's for later. If they get the booyah, that might just happen. But now the eyes are on to Headhunters. They're making their moves in. Headhunters, they need to understand they're making the space for themselves, but they're giving away a lot of space to Arise Esports. Look at ADDA Kings, just being very big. They can do a third party. Headhunters, Divine, he has decided that he will be the one who's going to look towards ADDA Kings, but look at Arise Esports, Johan and Mad God again, just waiting for the time. But then the dash comes in. Mad God gets one more alongside Johan and Prodigy. They eliminate Headhunters. The last battle against ADDA Kings, Lucifer.
ADDA Kings knew this was not their battle, but now the battle is not even going to be in their hand. But Sidhu tried his best. Spark as well, a 1v1 with Prodigy. But Prodigy has always been great, and as soon as they get to know that Prodigy is being troubled, Arise Esports surged through and Arise for the very first booyah of Group C.
Wow, Arise Esports. I don't have the confirmation on the actual number of eliminations, but then I'm 100% sure about the fact that more than 30. Imagine it's 40 plus points in the very first game, and we expected that Arise Esports can be one of the teams who can shock us, and they have shocked us with an amazing performance, and the way they have done it in Mad God. Wow, that player has turned out to be a superstar for Arise Esports right now.
I think somebody woke him up a little too early, or somebody said something, and he is truly mad. He is decimating the lobby. The aggression and the confidence on this mad lad. He is rightly launching himself towards enemies and knocking them down. They are just worrying what's happening. Let's take a look at the last shot. It started with a fight between Headhunters with Arise, and Arise wanted to start things off, and look at this dash coming in from Mad God. That is where everything fell apart for Headhunters, and after that, knowing that ADDA Kings, this was not their battle, that's the reason they didn't want to third party as well. The numbers were not that great, but you have to give compliments to Sidhu. He tried his best, he did knock one player, and on the other end, Spark isolating the fight with Prodigy. And then, it's not going to be as easy. The numbers on Arise's end was a lot, and then eventually Arise with a total of 44 points. This happened when we started our week 2 Group A. It was a total of 48 points. Record already broken by Godlike, but now we are seeing that getting closer to that record is Arise Esports. We said them underdogs, but they are the dark horses of the lobby.
Absolutely. Last night it was NXT who got 40. This time it is Arise Esports with 44. But Headhunters as well, we need to talk about them. They definitely get the second spot with total 18 points. They had the elimination game, but nobody was able to touch what Arise Esports could achieve, because look at the elimination numbers. It's 32, Lucifer. I mean, that's some kind of a number and some kind of a momentum they would have got in the first game, and definitely, getting up or cranking up the number 2 as 44 just shows the kind of momentum they would be in for the next game, because they have 5 more games left out. Let's have a look at the most valuable player. No surprises at all. It is Mad God with 11 eliminations and 7 assists, and look at the damage, 3,566, Lucifer.
We've missed some assaulters who have gotten eliminated, and Mad God is filling those shoes and saying there's a new star in the making. The spotlight is going to change, and limelight indeed needs to be given to Mad God. 11 eliminations, 7 assists, 3,566 damage, and with this Trogan, he went all rogue in the lobby. He was putting players down right, left, and center. Didn't worry whether it was a solo battle or team battle. He made it all work, and what a game coming in. Incredible performance. This is what we love to see when things start off. And Group C, this is why we said so far in all the games that we've ended up seeing, right, in Group A, Group B, we've never been felt like, hey, this looked like a normal game. How aggressive, how wonderful. And kudos to his teammates, Prodigy, Kunal, as well as Johan, who joined hands to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like, you see how Prodigy went ahead with the loadout. He had a Skylar, probably gives you a hint that he was the sniper of the team, but then the way he created the support was so amazing. He was fighting his own battle against Oligarchs at some point, while, the rest of the 3 members were fighting against some other team towards the circle. It was IQESPORTS, if I'm not wrong, but just understanding the fact that these players are so confident right now inside the lobby just showcases, and I think they have gone ahead and reflected that on the stat sheet as well. You look at 8 elimination points for Prodigy, 6 for Kunal, 7 for Johan, and Mad God we already saw in the MVP list that he cranked up 11, and he got 11 knockouts, and he confirmed all of them. Just shows the accuracy as well for Mad God, Lucifer.
Along with Prodigy, imagine this being done, this game being pulled off. 10 knockouts on his end as well. Kunal is also not far behind as a Grenadier. 6 eliminations, 6 knockouts. We're talking about this. A man who took as many eliminations as he could get, as many knockouts as he took. Equally qualifying in terms of that number, showing his potential, along with 12 assists in terms of helping his teammates and everybody at a damage of 2,000 plus on an average. Let's talk about the circle itself. Arise, we saw them at Catalystiva where the battle started, went towards Graveyard, from there came closer to their drop spot and then started moving downwards. As you can see, they fought with a little on METANINZA, moved back towards factory areas. As you can see, they're coming all the way down, and then from here on, Arise just rose up in terms of performance. There was no stopping them.
Credit has to be given to Kunal as well. He is the think tank, and the way, I think, patiently they were waiting. They did not converge onto Oligarchs while they knew everything. The positions were known. They knew what kind of utilities they were having, because they were waiting inside the factory, both the teams, Oligarchs and Arise Esports, and because they waited so much, the rest of the teams like METANINZA, IQESPORTS, they could not enter the factory building, and because of which I think a lot of teams got eliminated. As you can see, the 5th circle where METANINZA, the Knights, and even Oligarchs got eliminated. That's where the fight broke out, and there was a lull period in the 3rd circle and the 4th circle before the actual fights took place in the 5th and the 6th circle. And I think Arise Esports set themselves up pretty well so that they could go ahead and get that Booyah as well, because not only they have that aggression game, they have that patience game alongside. They know when to take a fight and when not to. And here comes the game Alpine, where the preferred drop spots are right in front of your screens, Lucifer.
Forest, right, for Team Tamilas. Team Tamilas are also playing, I would say, a very smart and I would say forward approach game in terms of eliminations. It's not been the best, but they're playing edge to edge on the zone. Bluewell with IQ Esports, and I really like how IQ Esports have played. They've, again, as I mentioned, aggressive approach, but it changed. When they removed their team strategy to an isolated individual strategy, that's where things broke. As soon as they started a fight with Muzain, that's where things, yes, went south for ZENSTRIKERS, who started the battle at Factory. But here, ZENSTRIKERS, I want to see what difference they can make. They're at Snowfall, and that is surrounded with UGxGRP, who had only 1 point in game 1. So, yes, a disappointing start for UGxGRP as well, a team from the city qualifiers. The Knights along with them, who almost looked like they could have had a opportunity at the Factory, but unfortunately they knew Arise was right in front of them. On the other end, they had ADDA Kings, so they had to take one fight in either direction, and they took the Arise fight. But Arise, who were so confident, already at 20 plus eliminations, that just helped them in terms of moving forward, even getting that whole team wiped out. But that was it in terms of our game number 1. Game 2, we just saw the preferred drop spots. Is it going to conclude in the same direction? Will we see maybe disappointments changing to be happy instances for teams? Because now that everybody's understood the lobby, especially it being Bermuda, they should be used to what's going to be coming in front of them in Alpine.
Yep, absolutely bang on, Lucifer. And I think the way Arise Esports have started, definitely they would not want to stop right now. They would again want to do the same kind of aggression in the next map first. While we talk about our predictions, definitely that's an interesting story. While you guys can also go ahead and give your own match predictions, because that's where I think things get a little spicier, because we can talk about the top 16, but it becomes a little difficult to predict who's going to outperform in the individual games. I have gone on with Team Tamilas. They did not do so well in the last game, but then probably Alpine can be the map where they can find the elements. And Headhunters, as I said, that's going to be a safe bet, where again we saw how consistently they got themselves the position, and they got 18 points, which is what is required right now.
Indeed, I think somewhere we are also in synchronous between ourselves, and this is something that I've been seeing from week 1 and week 2. We as casters on desk generally have 2 names which almost are always same. It rarely changes, being all 3 different, but UGxGRP I have is going to be an offset pick compared to the Headhunters as well as FX Elite. Now that's just belief of what they did in a group that they were playing in and in week 1, right? And for them to kind of having 100 points to start off like this with only 1 point, 100x of a difference from their week 1 performance is yes, a big surprise. But hey, again, game 1 has been an upsetting journey for a lot of teams. This is why we said, whether you be from city qualifiers, whether you be an invited team or FFC mode, everybody has been troubled. Maybe week 1 FFC mode teams had a lot more trouble. They had their eliminations higher compared to any city qualifiers or invited teams, but we've seen week 2 start off in the direction where invited teams, our city qualifiers now in day 3 are having trouble. With that, it's time to start things off on Alpine. This is game number 2. Teams who did not have game 1 in terms of their favor on Bermuda, time to start game 2.
Yeah, this is where things are going to get serious right now. Arise Esports being the pilot, but then they jump ahead really quickly. Good stock. Are anybody going to challenge them is the question. No, nobody is going towards Rock. It's actually the Knights who have gone in. It's only Prodigy who has taken a different leap from his team. He's gone in towards a no man's land, probably eyeing base camp or areas in and around there. I think there was a miscommunication. So finally the team is aligned with what Prodigy is trying to do. It was a late jump coming in from the whole team. Mad God, Johan and Kunal will join them. But now ADDA Kings can be a probable, fight which they might look at. But rest, I think teams are pretty much sorted. There are no more fights happening. Probably towards Blue Will. There are 2 teams there. It's IQESPORTS, but then the fight has started with ADDA Kings. This is Arise Esports once again.
Prodigy has not gotten a sniper yet, but still manages to knock, finds the elimination, but he gets rushed from 2 players from Kings in a 1v2 situation. He just needs to find one. He goes prone down. That is but he doesn't have much to play to save himself, and that is the reason he couldn't survive. However, his teammate, Mad God, he is back in action. Nobody can say no to his elimination. They have to bow down, and again, even though ProAbG was confirmed, Mad God says not a problem at all.
Yeah, they have literally started where they left off in the last map, and we expected this from Arise Esports. No surprises at
Correct.
all. Lucifer and IQESPORTS have also, bringing back the players they lost in the initial fight, and that's happening towards Blue Will. But I think they know the positioning of Walia. Probably they want to come in and flush out. No, I don't think so. The position is known to them. Probably they're just passing by, wanting to finish up their loot, because it's difficult, right, Lucifer, while you take these kind of gunfights, it becomes a situation where I have to choose between taking and probably getting a utility for yourself. But wait, this is a fight happening, right? This team TAMILAS going up against IQ. Script has been out. Prime eliminates him. He needs to reload his M590. He did not find the first shot, and he gets taken down right now. Here comes Vishal. He raids, but he's the lone man. He needs to revive Prime. Also fight, but then he would be allowed, and he gets taken out. IQESports being the first one to be eliminated, Lucifer.
A fight between Team TAMILAS and IQESports breaks out, but it's going to be FX Elite who charge and take advantage of it. We spoke about Blue Will already, and right now charging with the blowholes coming through. It's FX Elite, a team whose name is there in the top 3 in terms of a prediction, thinking that this should be their game and opportunity. And they start off strong, 3 eliminations, but that's not going to be enough. It's just a starter for some. They've already gone to 4, as you can see. IQESports, they were at the top at 5 eliminations, but they're the ones who are eliminated. And UGxGRP, they did get eliminated with only 1 in terms of a point in the previous game, and now they're getting charged by headhunters. Shanku instantly retreats. He's like, hey, we've not had the best start. Let's not make it the second game as well being the same repeated.
No. This is not good signs for UGxGRP. Headhunters are chasing them. Look at Java Boy. He's stuck. He cannot move. He cannot run away. And he is going to get taken out. This is not looking good for UGxGRP, Lucifer. After what they did in the city qualifiers, after what we saw, how they play in the Week 1 games, this looks like UGxGRP are trying to retreat. The confidence is not there. This is not how Shanku plays. We know how he plays when he has the confidence. They're running away, and headhunters are playing the chasing game right now. Look at Divine, look at Roshan with 2 different angles. Kohli is in a different angle, probably trying to save the team if they lose out on the numbers, which they will eventually, because they're not fighting. What has happened to them? They're still opting for running away.
Oh, vehicle's not that great. They would have to exit it, and yes, they will be forced to. Riptide Rhythm also being used, and Harsh and Divine making a run for it inside the chrono, but for how long Shanku gets taken down? His squad is not going to say any answers or any songs. It is going to be eliminations grabbed by headhunters, and a nice chase, but Kohli was surviving, and Java Boy has been revived. The fight maybe continues, but headhunters, they're quick to act upon it. They're making sure that if any players is still lagging behind from UGxGRP, they're on the hunt for it, and they might have an idea that Kohli should be nearby. The man who revived his teammate is not even safe yet.
Kohli actually eventually gets spotted. Probably he will want to run away from the situation. Roshan, he is stuck inside these blue walls now, but Kohli, he's running away once again. These players are not taking those head-on fights. They need to be confident. Otherwise, it just becomes easier, and they're giving freebies to headhunters right now. This is so not UGxGRP. And I'm literally shocked as what has happened to them, because they're literally running away in every situation and not taking those fights confidently. The team needs to calm down for a second, not overthink, because these situations can be a little bit problematic for them, and this can just become much more difficult for them while they cross out on the 3rd and the 4th game probably.
We did see invited teams having trouble, and it was no surprise that we would end up seeing a city qualified team also having trouble anytime soon. And for now, it has happened. On the other end, happening in terms of eliminations is NG Silver Eagle, as they're trying to pick on METANINZA. Somehow it's working out. Can they continue it? They've confirmed some, but they're going to make sure they run for a lot more. Another player's been knocked. They should be grabbing that elimination. That's going to be Ginotra. But there is one more player, but he instantly made a jump away from this position. Fusion is going to be completely cleared of METANINZA. The confirmation on Ginotra will also be taken, and NG Silver Eagle better start of what happened in the previous game. They were the first team to be eliminated. Right now, they have 6 total eliminations, and they're looking for a lot more.
Yeah, NG Silver Eagle. For what happened in the last game, they needed this start. It's a good start. They have controlled aggression going in. They need to understand that this game is going to be very important for them. But same goes for UGxGRP. Kohli again gets knocked out. Again, things are not looking good for them. This time it's a Rise Esports. They don't know that Kunal have already closed in the distance. He has climbed up. What has happened? I mean, they are not hearing the sound cues properly, Lucifer. Is what is making me, question a lot of things is what, UGxGRP are doing. But probably it's good for Rise Esports because they have again cranked up the numbers to 9. They're again closing in, and here comes the elimination. UGxGRP, they get eliminated towards that 11th position. Not having a good start in game 1, now not having a good start in game number 2. It was miserable actually.
They did not even get a single point. No elimination game. That is nada, nothing. UGxGRP. I mean, yes, we've seen teams having a bad day, not making their mark, not making points, but this is completely something else. But something else is also the circle saying it northeast, where you can see Oligarchs a tad bit safer, just below Carousel. But that's not going to be enough in terms of position. It seems to be that they're in an open land. They need to have a proper compound, and they have only one house. This is why I was worried. And around them, they just have open areas, a road next to them, trees in between. So if a fight breaks out, they're the ones who are going to be in trouble because teams can rush in any direction, and you can see that's why they are making sure they're looking in all directions at every moment as they're stepping out to make sure that nobody's gotten closer. But there is FX Elite. They've gotten closer, but they're not worried right as now. They're making sure that they also have a safe and sound spot to hold off for the time being because they do not want to give any opportunities inside the circle while give away the eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, other than Arise Esports, it has it has been pretty much controlled aggression from the rest of the teams. They have been the one who have wantingly made plays or probably challenged teams up front. The rest of the teams have been very patient. You look how Headhunters are, facing themselves up. They are fight right now against Arise Esports. It's going to be interesting. Look at Mancord and Johan. The eyes are going to be there, but Vincent, he is holding that corner. But Roshan, he needs to understand that Johan is circling around him. Kunal comes in for the support as well. Now Roshan is fighting alone. Vincent, he needs to understand. He needs to get off that position. Roshan gets taken out. Headhunters cornered out. Vincent, what happened? I mean, he was healing for eternity, it seems like that.
Nothing is working against Arise. They seem to be the Grim Reapers of the lobby. They're taking every team right in front of them. You don't need a calling for them. They're going to be the ones who are going to be coming in and approaching you, and I hope you're not in their way. That's all we can say. Rise Esports, a total of 12 eliminations. They already have that hit list, and this is not something that they're trailing, but information they're getting. Then in case in that direction, there is a team. Headhunters who had trouble, Vincent will get back his teammates, so Headhunters will survive further in this lobby on Alpine to continue this aggression. FX Elite have also continued. We saw they have 7 eliminations, but they've controlled it, as you said. Right now, they're making sure that they're not the ones actively going for a fight, but it seems like somebody did take shot at them. I think it might be Oligarchs, but NG Silver Eagles and ZENSTRIKERS, they're going to be starting off a fight anytime soon.
ZENSTRIKERS closing in the vicinity and have the first map itself only have 2 points to work with. They're fighting against NG Silver Eagles who are just starting to feel it, and we know what can happen because they already have qualified last time, so they know how to qualify in those knockout stages. Right now, chasing the players, Mohsin gets taken out, he gets picks off with the woodpecker. But look at Sam, he is stuck. He is stuck between 2 players, and he will also be dealt with. Sanatani being the player who gets 1 elimination point. Actually, he gets the third one. And NG Silver Eagles are at 8 right now. But Crime and Mohsin, either they have to decide that they have to run away and get the players back inside the lobby, or probably end this fight. Because there's no way they can take a fight with the 2v4 situation if they're running away in this kind of situation and they're wantingly showing the backs against your opponent. It never helps.
For the time being, even NG Silver Eagles decided the zone's closing rather than trailing behind enemy who they could eliminate if possible, but they could even end up meeting another team completely altogether out of the picture in terms of their imagination. So better approach is go where the zone is closing in, making sure that they're inside the zone, better ready for a fight. But here I'm happy that I can see Sanatani, who's gotten his opportunity to take fights, and that has pushed NG Silver Eagle to get a lot more eliminations, a lot more better in Alpine itself, a better start to push forward, because we've said every game counts. You don't have any kind of buffer because the qualification is at top 6 and our cutoff might go up as unbelievably as you could think. Prodigy being the damage leader at 2,171 as of now, and that is just a number for the time being in the name of Arise Esports. For everybody else, that is huge number in terms of damage.
But look at Headhunters right now. They're running away. What has happened to these teams? Whenever we are watching these kind of teams, they're always backs against teams. This time it is METANINZA. Yoda, he is too ahead. But Arch needs to be the man who needs to find the momentum, and he is coming in now. Jarvis and Anshu, they are stuck, but they dash in. Look at Arch. He's trying to play around that solar panel, but then he gets taken out. Oh, the problem is Roshan is running away. Divine fighting for his life. Divine will be taken out as well. But wait, here comes Vincent. Vincent takes down all the members of METANINZA and they get taken out. Vincent's position was a little unknown.
Thankfully, Divine ended up saving. The glue walls then covered Vincent, and from there on Vincent made sure that the enemies were behind. They were not trailing the enemies in terms of the launch pad. They were waiting for an opportunity, and that gave Vincent the window, and he put the team down. What a turnaround we ended up seeing on that battle. But another battle proves that's going to be Team TAMILAS and FX Elite. While Team TAMILAS are putting down Avijit, somehow I don't know how he's surviving over there. He will be eventually clean pushed off, elimination confirmed, but Avijit is going to be happy if he gets anything. But he gets a monster truck and the boost to make a run, but not far, man. That's not going to work. With the Winchester eventually gets confirmed. But the Knights, hearing all these bullets rattle off, they're waiting for their opportunity. But Knights better be prepared because ADDA also made their entry.
Yeah, look at the positioning. They have a good position. They can control the circle. They can control the course of the game as well. But they just need to understand that whoever comes in and around them, they need to take them down. The eliminations is going to save them. But for now, it is ZENSTRIKERS who are pushing in towards ADDA Kings. Walia gets taken out. JD God is holding his spot. What is he thinking? He can revive Mohsin. He's taking a lot of time. And Walia gets picked off. What? This looks so questionable right now. Now the plushie being connected, the information is going to be there. Mohsin again gets taken out. Oh my god. JD God is looking pretty much confusion. Again, he's taking so much time. Sidhu, he comes in from behind and he takes him down. JD God, he was so cluttered what was happening in and around him that he could not figure out that he was taken out before that.
That's what pressure does, but right now the Knights don't have pressure. They have the rooftop to play with, but Oligarchs, they're in pressure. Arise, they've already put the deal on Django, and now Gokul in trouble. He's surrounded by enemies. Nero Plushie does come through, but it was a completely different team. Mad God, finally, for the first time, I end up seeing a knock on him. But Arise, they don't have a challenge immediately. Even though the Plushie come through, he don't have to push around, but Kunal does. He spots a player, instant call from Johan as well, and they together put him down, and now ADDA Kings, they know that Arise, somebody threw a plushie towards them and they want to make sure they punish whoever that team was. But there are 3 different teams. Even I'm not too sure who threw it. But now Arise is going to get even more angrier because now they're scouting, looking forward to which team it was. And look at where they're in the circle. They're at the edge of the circle, and every other team right now in the lobby, the other 5 teams, they're on the exact opposite end. And Prodigy finds that knock, this car 98 that he's wielding, and now they're gearing up to launch directly on top of this tower, and Lexos very close was Prodigy to get there. However, he's gotten the roof for him. Lexos, I'm not too sure if he has the idea, but Prodigy from here will try to push players off, but Mad God, he got taken down and he's eliminated. So Arise, a 3-man squad now in this battle.
Yeah, definitely, but look it down. The Knights fighting against NG Silver Eagles, they are pushing in. The Kings actually also in that spot, and also Team TAMILAS playing in and around that area. A lot of chaos going to happen. The Kings being the first one to get eliminated in that chaos. Tamilas, they have 11 elimination points already. Just waiting, they're buying time. Sanatani, meanwhile, NG Silver Eagles are losing out on that number game. And there's one member from Headhunters who's still surviving, once again showcasing the experience X-Divine has. He knows the importance of surviving is going to be key. But Lexos, he's being pressured upon, but Johan falls down. He is pressured as well, and he gets taken out. And Knights are the one who deals with him. Lexos takes down Kunal as well. And look at Prodigy. Wait, it was not Kunal. He was taken out by the Knights, actually.
They were trying to climb up and get close to Lexos and get that control of tower. It failed. Johan fell down. Somehow Kunal did go up, but he also on Lexos, and now Lexos knows Prodigy and Kunal are stuck in a very hard place. This is worse than a sandwich. At least in a sandwich, you know the end deed. But right as of now, they know that they have an opportunity to aim down at players and take them down, but it is not efficient because Lexos is on top. Knights holding off on the roof really well in terms of position because they're around the tower itself, making sure that if anybody tries to scope it down, it's not going to work. Kunal again challenging, nice plushy through, and this time finally puts down Lexos. A breath of relief coming through for Arise. An opportunity that could have worked in their favor was almost about to be lost, but it's not yet done. A plushie coming to their end right now, but they fend it off, and Team Tamilas is what their trouble. 2 players down. Yogesh and Script are the last survivors. Script also gets taken down right in time, going across the containers. Prodigy, he knows there's one more player. Divine jumps right to him with his dual revolver. Can he take Divine down? It's going to be tough. He loses his teammate a 1v1, and Prodigy takes him down now. Prodigy was stuck. Not an opportunity to work it out, but the Knights, the waiting game works for them, but a 2v4 ends up becoming a 2v3. They're quick on the revive.
Probably, yes. Script and Yogesh, you need to understand. He jumps in literally. The time of being connected. Saksham gets taken out. Yogesh is fighting against a team member from the Knights. He will be taken out pretty easily. And here comes the booyah for the Knights. The patience game pays off for them, Lucifer. And the way they handle and maneuver inside this stressful situation. The chaos was there right up front, but they did not, hinder their confidence as they converted the booyah.
Knights, as you said, patience, and that is the reason we also know them for their valor. Knights are always adorned with glittering armor, and just like that, they showed us why they got this booyah. They waited for the opportunity. They knew all teams' position. They could have fought with everything they wanted, charged across, but they made sure they had a strategy in play. They could have been taken down by Lexus. They could have been taken down by Arise, but they played it smart. They knew where their challenge was, and they played against the opponent's challenge. They put the opponent in a disadvantage. Let's take a look at the last shot. It started here where the Knights troubled the Team Tamilas, and then Arise Prodigy, the last one surviving, tried his best. He knew it couldn't work out as Satya had thrown a plushie in his direction, and Prodigy eventually was cleaned off by 8, and that's another confirmation. And then a 4v2 situation, but a nice hit coming in from Script with his Winchester, but he was too far to confirm. There were glue walls all across the board. They did find a couple of knocks, but eventually, numbers still being high, better, got their confirmation. Satya, as you can see, running across, jumping, putting players down, gave this booyah. Still, it's not them topping the charts. It's Arise who had 20 eliminations. 2 games, Oro, 2 games. Yeah. They've pulled 20 eliminations.
You can do the math, Lucifer. 44 in the first one. Second game comes in and they get 28 more. Wow, I mean, they can get to the 100th number probably in the next game. We will know eventually. But then Knights, they get the booyah. Now, Team Tamilas with 20, they had the elimination number. They get the placement point. But I was looking, sports rushed upon him and he had 2 players. Eventually got taken down as well from Arise Esports. So Arise Esports, wherever they're going, these teams so much that they are end of the game, surrendering to them. But look at those today's standings. Arise Esports right on top with 72 total points in just 2 games. They have 1 booyah, and look at the elimination number, 52, Lucifer.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about Arise. 72 total points. Headhunters, a difference of almost 40 points from the first team to the second team. This is just mind-blowing at this point to even imagine that this is happening within the first 2 games. However, let's talk about the others. Team Tamilas at 32, the Knights 30, ADDA Kings at 23, Oligarchs at 20, NG Silver Eagles at 18. I'm only going to be talking about the top 7 because the rest have a lot of catching up to do, especially the teams at the bottom, which is UGxGRP. After 2 games, have only 1 point, have been a unanimous decision, I think, from major every right caster on the talent desk that we have, that this is a team that should in a blindfold qualify. But we know when we said whether you be blinded or not, when you called the predictions for Group A, it did not replicate of what we thought can happen right here. ZENSTRIKERS also sitting at single digit with only 5 total points. IQESPORTS at a total of 13, FX Elite at 14, and METANINZA as well. We see 2 of the city qualifiers team in.
Yep, they're struggling and they're struggling bad, very bad. The most valuable player definitely shines for the Knights. But Saksham, who managed to convert those crucial moments for the team. He got 5 elimination points, and look at the damage, 2,314. This shows the amount of impact he could create inside the lobby. He had an AC-80, just shows the kind of abilities he has gone on with. He had a chrono, so definitely helps him with the shield movements, and of course, anybody cannot, damage him while he is inside that circle, inside that shield as well. So I feel the Knights played really well. Even though Saksham was taken down, he was knocked out while the Booyah moment came in. But his team was making sure that they have the number. That's very basic Free Fire Max gameplay coming in, which always pays off in such situations, Lucifer.
Yeah, I really like when we see our passives as well. In the previous game, we ended up seeing a Luna. Here you ended up look forward to the firing rate on the other end, reload speed. When you dabble between these two, you are kind of still figuring it out best, and that is the reason we enjoy seeing the characters and their skills being used to its perfection for your team's success. While we spoke about Saksham's chrono, we have to talk about Max at A124, Nero on Satya, and Vedant having Oscar. Really well played in terms of, I would